sharing their stories. Today we have with us Mr. Al Jensen. So welcome, Al.
Hey, John Polish, good to be here.
Great to have you. So we're going to spend the first moments and just kind of recap the most recent Unstuck Happiness Conference, which happened on Saturday, March 31st, which, Al, we're so thankful that you were a part of that.
Oh, awesome. I was thankful to be a part of that.
So that was our fifth Unstuck Conference. It was your first experience. What feedback do you have for us? How did you think the day went?
My goodness. I mean, I thought that I was stuck. I mean, I thought that I had issues in my life. And in retrospect, yeah, I've had issues. I've been stuck, and I've had, challenges and learned lessons along the way. But my goodness, there were some people there that were stuck a whole lot deeper than I thought one could be stuck, and got themselves out of it. So, I mean, I think it was just testament that, life is tough. And regardless of how bad you think you have it, I mean, other people have had to deal with so much more severe issues in their life.
Yeah, we definitely all get stuck, but how long you stay there is completely up to you.
Oh, that's the key. That's it. Yeah. Are you going to wallow in that sadness and frustration and despair, or are you going to, find some way to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, to find somebody else to give you a hand, to implement some strategies to overcome your stuck state. So, yeah, man, I got a lot of great ideas from people there how to get out of that stuck state.
Awesome. So we had 10 speakers there, and I just want to run through really quick and say hello to, or kind of give props to each of the speakers. The first one we had was Matt Mortensen.
Magic Matt Mortensen. That's right, Magic Matt Mortensen. That dude, he's a stud. 6'4", and he's like, 230 pounds, about 228.5 pounds is muscle.
Former Marquette basketball player.
The guy is ripped. He's still, I don't know how old he is, but he's beyond college, obviously, and the guy has gone through some issues in life, and I'm thinking, man, if anybody had the world by the tail, this guy did.
He has a really good stage presence, definitely has some good stories. I don't see it, but some of the girls kind of liked him. Not my preference. Sorry, Matt. Love you, bud, but,
Exactly.
Apparently he was a big hit with the ladies at the conference, so.
He's a big hit with the ladies all the time.
I'm sure.
And he shared some great insights. Ultimately, it's all about the decisions that you make.
Right.
And if you make better decisions, you'll have better outcomes, I think is ultimately what Matt had to say.
Absolutely. Our second speaker was my good friend Steve August. Steve is a juggler by trade. He's an entertainer, and he's just now considering moving into the speaking world. So he had a juggling routine for us. I thought he was very entertaining, and for his first speech, I thought he did a pretty good job of bringing the idea of overcoming your fear into the entertainment he already had.
Absolutely, and obviously he's great on stage, great stage presence, connected with the audience. Got a volunteer to come up and just demonstrate how you can overcome some of your fears. So with that snake thing, it's like, I'm glad he didn't call me, but that was great.
Let me tell you, we were on Fox 5 the Wednesday morning before that, and he is holding a scorpion in one hand, and the reporter is holding the snake, and both of them kept inching their way closer towards me. And I'm like, I'm feeling a little stuck right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But exactly. Steve did an awesome job.
Yes, he did.
Our next presenter was actually an interview we did with Officer Brian Benitsky.
Oh, my God. The guts that this guy has to do what he does, and he was, one of the first people on the scene on 1st October at Mandalay Bay, and man, I don't know how anybody brings himself to do those kinds of things and put themselves in the way of danger for the safety of us.
Yeah, more people are talking about the interview with Brian than anything else probably that happened that day, just because his transparency. You can tell he has a heart for what he does and for helping people. Not only the October 1st shooting stuff, obviously that's what the headlines are all about.
Oh, sure, but what he does every day.
Yeah, and his whole concept of viewing people as, just regular people going through a difficult circumstance. So, like I say, he catches people in their most stuck moments.
Right.
And helps them see past it. So.
Yeah, awesome spot.
He's part of my men's group that meet every Wednesday, and he's getting a lot of pressure to become a speaker when he retires from being a cop. And I sure hope he does, because it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely, got great message.
Next, we had Galit Ventura Rosen. And Galit won awards last year as a top motivational speaker.
I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why.
I really liked, obviously, she had great stage presence, but she had a really good mixture of points and stories.
Absolutely. And that's really what it's all about. Stories draw the listener in, but if you don't have a point or a purpose behind your story, then it's irrelevant. But she had a point behind every one of her stories.
One of the most difficult things to teach a new speaker is that it's not about you. That the audience really, they will empathize with you once they make that connection. But if you start off telling your story and talking about you all the time, you can lose them even with the best stories. So
absolutely.
And that's one of the hardest things to teach people. Galit's obviously been doing this a while. She did a really good job of involving everyone else along with her story. So
absolutely. And you know who was up after Galit?
Who?
You were up.
I guess I was.
You were up. Now, you've been speaking for a while, and I got to tell you what I loved about your presentation was the fact that you told a story, you made it personal, you brought us into your life, you were vulnerable, and you had some props, and you illustrated your point just crystal clear. So not only was it a story and you had us by the heart, but you had a lesson, and you made that lesson crystal clear. So, man, that was awesome.
And well, thank you for that, first of all. But going back to that point about it being very difficult to just stand there and tell your stories, like the way that I did this speech, which was different than some of the other ones I did, was I used the boxes to illustrate the stories. And I did it because there were a few different stories that I wanted to tell. And so the box illustrated, okay, I opened the box and there's another story. And I did that intentionally so that it wasn't just me standing there saying, let me tell you a whole bunch of stories about me.
Right.
And I was able to figure out a way to use that in an illustration to help others. And I'm only sharing that with you because if you're interested in sharing your story eventually, finding a way to make it meaningful to your audience rather than just about you is going to be really important.
Oh, absolutely. And the sled, the illustration of you can only drag this so long, and then you have to let that go. Great illustrations. And I have to use toys when I speak. It's a given. The afternoon start off with Alexa Glazer, former Rebel girl. Yeah. Talk about energy. Talk about enthusiasm. Second time on stage. Her first speech was at Unstuck the last time. Really? I would have thought that she does this on a regular basis. No, she's... I ran into her in a Starbucks and we started talking and found out that she had an interest in speaking, and man, she's just incredible. Her Living the Dream movement is just, it's taking off. It's awesome. The video she showed at the beginning, she created herself. That's awesome. And it was amazing. She needs to be on more stages. Yes. Yep, absolutely. So Alexa, get on more stages. She will be. She's actually did her first book signing in Cleveland this week, so I don't know if she's back yet or not. Awesome. Yeah, her Living the Dream book is like over 400 pages for a 25-year-old to write. That is amazing. Yeah, that is. Next we had Cheryl Green. What else can we say other than Cheryl Green? Cheryl is my co-host on this show normally. She's doing an event today, so she couldn't be with us. But this was, she is the only other person that spoke at all 5 Unstuck conferences. This was her best yet. Oh, yeah. Cheryl just keeps getting better. I remember seeing Cheryl at a Toastmasters club, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And she was incredibly pretty good at that point in time. But oh my God, she has just come so far. Right. Her storytelling, her ability to engage with the audience and get the audience to understand what it is that she wants to get across. Yeah. Cheryl, you come a long way, baby. Before Cheryl, we had Mr. Al Jensen. Yeah, I was up there too. You were. I was up there too. Al, I love obviously I love your use of props and visuals because, I kind of stole that from you a little bit. But I love how engaging it is. And, a good story is wonderful, but 20 minutes of just hearing somebody speak you can get lost at times. Absolutely. And so you do a great job of involving the audience, bringing visuals back, having a crystal clear message, and so I enjoy listening to you speak. Well, good. That was my purpose, to grab the audience's attention, give them something to remember, and something to take away, because if they're not taking anything away, it was a waste of their time. Awesome. I love the airbag thing, too, which was really cool. Next, we had Eddie Garcia. Are we going to commercial first? Let's get to these two, and we'll come back so we can focus on you. So, Eddie Garcia.
Eddie, I see he's watching this right now. Eddie, we
Eddie.
love you, man. This guy's sense of humor is just amazing. His energy is amazing. He's part of the Living Unstuck documentary movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we went out and interviewed him. Like, tell me about the time you were most stuck. And he's like, I really was never stuck. I mean, this guy had both hands and feet amputated and has never felt stuck. What
Yeah.
an amazing story.
Yeah, it's attitude. I mean, he understands that his purpose here in this world far surpasses, any physical limitations that he's got to deal with. So, Eddie, man, you brought it that day. And from a speaker's perspective, were you the greatest speaker in the world? No, but you were the greatest speaker there that day because you connected with the audience. You had them, in the palm of your hand, and everybody was, hanging on every word you said. So, man, props to you. You did a great job at the Unstuck conference.
Ed, just proud to be able to help share that story. Hopefully the movie will just push the message further. So,
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. And our final speaker of the day, Beth Boggin. Beth was our guest on our show last month. I thought Beth did a great job of being vulnerable and sharing about mental health. She talked about having bipolar disorder and just issues with mental illness.
Absolutely.
People don't like to talk about that.
Yeah, she helped people realize, at least she helped me realize, and I think everybody in the audience that day, that, life's not fair. And some of us are burdened with one thing, some burdened with another. And yeah, they're all difficult issues to deal with. And the whole mental health thing is something that, it's not mainstream. It's not, me too. Yeah, I've got this. No, we don't talk about it. Yeah. But she brought it out and helped me understand that, it's something we can talk about. And if we do, then we can get help.
So that's just a little bit of what you missed if you were not able to make it on March 31st. When we come back after this break, we're going to find out a little bit more about Mr. Al Jensen.
All right.